David, thanks very much for joining us. David Holland. David, you are, in my eyes, one of the most knowledgeable marketers that I've had the pleasure of spending any time with. And we spent a lot of time around tables and in front of audiences and talking about marketing over the last few years. But, and I guess most people that are listening to this are going to know you one way or another. If someone's listening to this and they don't know who you are, if they don't know more about marketing than your average Joe, give me the reasons why. What's the experience? What is it that's taken you from where you were to right now knowing more about marketing than most?
I would say that my probably superpower or real knowledge is in the digital marketing space as opposed to the digital marketing or branding space. And that's just developed over the years by practically doing stuff. So I've always had an interest in technology and using new technologies as they come out. I have a kind of an aptitude for it and a passion for it, and I'm always fiddling around into things and discovering stuff. And then the context of my background is in sales and marketing. Procter & Gamble, Kraft Foods, IBM, Oracle, before I started my business, EXELA, about 20 years ago now. So I've actually grown up through that process of the marketing and sales as the internet's come along and there's more and more tools. And I find it fascinating, but hugely distracting over the years that the simple concepts, which are still absolutely core, really can be in danger of being diluted and forgotten with the complexity of the technology. So I'm really interested in all the cool and groovy technologies around, but just boiling that down into real simple things that are likely to work. And in my case, likely to work for me or likely to work for my clients, and not make things over-engineered or overly complex. Because there's a big danger that a lot of companies do is they make things too complicated. Having said that, there are lots of advances all the time. So it's really easy to either make something too complicated or miss out on an opportunity of a new thing, a new widget, a new piece of technology that comes around. So what I really try and do for my clients is I'll learn all the new stuff. I'll examine the new stuff. I'll research it. And then I'll boil that down into a recommendation is, okay, this is what you should do. Keep it simple. Just do this. This fulfills the core objective. And we only need to worry about this particular piece of technology. And that's really where we fit in with our clients.
So most business owners that I spend time with fall into really one of two camps. One is that they don't know what they should be doing. They literally don't know what marketing does work for them, would work for them, what they should be doing. Perhaps they're doing nothing at the moment. And the other camp is that they know what they should be doing, but it is too complicated. They either don't do it at all or they don't do it very well because, as you say, the complexity specifically around the tech stuff when it comes to digital marketing means that people tend to do what they understand, not what they are going to find most effective. Why is digital marketing so complicated?
It's really increasingly complicated because of the advances of the technology that's available. Absolutely take your point that lots of people don't know what to do, and then they either don't know how to do it, or some people do know what to do and don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And of course, there are some people that know exactly what to do and how to do it and just would prefer to outsource that to a technician to do it for them, which is fine and the sorts of clients that we love. The core of the marketing really hasn't changed since the invention of the internet, which is to really understand what your message is and really understand what the value you deliver to clients is, and then communicate that. We just have more ways of doing that at the moment. And very often companies get too confused with the opportunity to do X, Y, and Z, whether it be Facebook advertising, Instagram, or TikTok. And they forget, well, all I'm really trying to do is communicate my value to a list of prospects. And then the prospects will either see the value or won't see the value and will talk to me. A lot of our clients are resource poor, and to a large degree, they have not worked out what the sales process or the marketing funnel process is, and then their sales pipeline. So they haven't defined it. So it becomes difficult for them to understand, what am I really trying to achieve with this little component? If they don't know where the component or the cog fits in the process, you can end up with cogs all over the place, all of which are spinning, but none of which are connected together. Big waste of energy and a big waste of effort.
So you used a couple of words there that I guess some people won't be familiar with or won't fully understand, or maybe they will have heard, but they won't really have got to grips with. One of those was funnel. What is a marketing funnel in your eyes?
Marketing funnel is a term that's widely used by marketeers and greatly misunderstood by customers. Its simplest idea is it funnel shaped, so it's fat at the top and thin at the bottom. The reason it's fat at the top is that lots of different drips of prospects come into the top of the funnel. So if you had a fire hose of one particular sort of prospect coming in, it wouldn't be called a funnel, it would be called a pipe.
Yep.
So the reason it's fat at the top is because we've got lots of different drips of potentially good prospects or customers coming in the top. They don't come in on their own. We have to attract them into the top of the funnel and get them into the funnel. Now, an obvious misconception is that people fall through the funnel by gravity. They don't, of course. Some will go through straight away, but most of them circulate in the middle of the funnel for an extended period of time. At the top of the funnel, we're trying to get as many people on our database, on our list as we possibly can. And that is the top of the funnel. The middle of the funnel, we're trying to make friends and influence people in the middle of the funnel so that we bring them forward and qualify them at the bottom of the funnel so they become good quality leads at the bottom of the funnel. We want them to be well educated. We want them to be motivated to buy. We want them to be ready to buy. So when they come out the bottom of the marketing funnel, they get passed on to the sales pipeline. So that in many of my customers, it's the same person doing the marketing as is doing the sales. But for other customers, it's a completely different team. It's a completely different thinking process. But both of them, there is a process that needs to be thought through and put together as you come out of marketing into sales. So to go back to the funnel, we're really moving people through stages, probably education stages, probably trust and credibility stages. So we're taking the opportunity when they're in the funnel to understand who we are, what our value is, how we work, what the value is likely to be to the prospect. And we're doing it digitally and we're doing it at scale because there's no, at this point, probably no human to human contact. It's digital marketing. So that funnel process is just a kind of metaphor or a description of how somebody would move forward in a very intentional. If you're going to go to the trouble of creating a funnel, you need to be fairly intentional about what you're doing, how you're doing it, how your prospectors are going to move through the funnel to be well educated and ready to buy at the bottom of the funnel.
Is the length of time that somebody is in the funnel dependent on the complexity of the sale, the value of the sale, how much education is required? What's a typical funnel length?
I'm not sure there is a typical funnel length. There's probably some averages in particular businesses and particular industries, but it would be different depending on the business and the industry. The reality is that somebody comes out at the bottom of the funnel when they are ready to come out of the bottom of the funnel. And yep, we can influence the time that it takes them to go through the funnel. We can influence the speed at which we're conveying information. We can influence the quantity, the consistency, and the speed of which we're providing them with information and education. But ultimately, they come out of the bottom of the funnel when they are ready to come out of the bottom of the funnel. So as a business owner, I need enough people in the funnel that enough are coming out of the bottom of the funnel to satisfy my business requirements to go ahead and move them into sales and to service them. So that's why I need a broad funnel with lots of people coming into it so that I can consistently bring people out the bottom of it. Just to expand on the funnel analogy a little bit, one could imagine this as a hopper. It's a hopper of leads that's got a tap at the bottom, and I can control the flow at the bottom. It's difficult to increase the flow if the hopper is empty, but if the hopper is nice and full, I can potentially do things that allow me to turn the tap and get more leads coming out at one particular time versus others, depending on how many clients I can service at any particular time. Some businesses, it's like an unlimited number. That's great. Let's fill up the funnel, fill up the hopper, and draw them out as quickly as possibly can. For a lot of our clients, there is a capacity constraint in their business. So you don't want hundreds of leads and tens of new customers a week, a month, because you couldn't deal with it. So again, designing that process in the funnel needs a little bit of intentionality and thought. The technology supports that. So the technology doesn't give you the funnel. The technology supports what you're trying to achieve in the funnel. And that's really the way to look about to view technology. Is it's a tool to deliver whatever our objective is.
So if the objective is to fill up the funnel, fill up the hopper, and get some leads at the bottom, what do you do to generate more leads? So when you talked about just, I could turn the tap and maybe generate some more leads for your sales team, what do you do?
So to fill up the funnel and to have a consistent flow of leads coming into the top of the funnel, we need to make available to our potential market things that they're interested in. Another jargon term is a lead magnet. So this is something that a prospect sees as valuable and is quite useful for them to have that particular piece of information. Therefore, they come to a landing page, a web page, and they're probably going to opt in to receive something in return. So this could be something as simple as a free report or a checklist or something like that. But it's often something really useful to a particular prospect, which is a get quote calculator, some way that they can answer the questions that they've got, which is, how much is this thing going to cost? Of course, at that point, they're more interested in thinking about their problems than our potential solution. So they're not really Googling, most people are not really searching for something that's described as a solution at the bottom of the funnel, but they are cognizant of, they are thinking about what their problems are. If there was a free report or a checklist, it would need to speak to solving that problem. And because the funnel is a series of steps as you move down the funnel, and they're sequential but not completely connected. So the objective at the top of the funnel with our lead magnet is just get people on the funnel. Don't worry about what the next step is. We're going to cover that later. It's just build your list, build your database. These are the right sort of people that have made some attempt to opt in and download something. They become our prospect list. We're going to have to do some more work after that.
But when we've done the work, when we've done the education, we've attracted them in with some sort of lead magnet, we've educated them, we have entertained and nurtured them. How do you convert that group of people? How do you move them from where they are in the funnel to putting their hands up going, yeah, I'm interested?
So in order to move them out of the funnel and into the sales pipeline, we need to make them an offer. We need to offer something that allows them to interact with a human. So that kind of the next step from our point of view, or from the client's point of view, is that they're going to be probably talking to a salesperson. So why would they want to do that? Sure, they could just phone the number on our website or phone the number on our email. Yes, they could reply to the email, but maybe we need to construct some different offers, some more valuable offers to begin the human interaction at the bottom of the funnel. Simple things like run webinars, invite the right sort of people who are well educated. Maybe they don't want to talk to a salesman at this point in time, but they would attend a webinar. Maybe they can come to or have a free consultation about something. Maybe they come to an event. So something that brings in the humans to allow the prospect to indicate they're ready. And we have to design that. We have to think about that, because it's highly unlikely that a prospect is going to suddenly become educated and ready and say, right now, I'm going to call that telephone number and talk to a salesperson. It does happen, and that is one of the mechanisms for sure, but we're really limiting the flow through the bottom of the funnel if that's the only way that people can actually interact with the salesperson.
So, to recap, number of drips, different verticals, different things that we're doing, lots of different activity to pull people into our funnel. The funnel is there for an undefined period of time, depending on the complexity of what we're trying to sell, perhaps the value of what we're trying to sell. Number of steps in there designed to educate, designed to nurture, designed to build familiarity and trust. So they move their way to the bottom of the hopper, and then at some point we use an offer to turn that tap and move some of those prospects into sales leads. What's interesting for me there is that as a technology expert, your next step was they've indicated they're ready to talk to a human. As if all of this is some sort of technology-based solution, but actually to make the sale, they need to talk to a real person. Your examples were they're going to jump on the phone, they're going to use, perhaps they're going to come to a webinar, they might come to an event. For lots of your clients, though, surely there must be a way that people are buying without that human interaction. The technology must extend beyond the funnel, but also into that sales pipeline where people are dripping in at the top and transacting at the bottom without any interaction with the human.
From a technological point of view, you can definitely set that up to reduce the amount of cost associated, because humans are expensive. So you can reduce the amount of cost, you can reduce the amount of human interaction. But if you've got people that are running through the funnel and are absolutely ready to buy, for sure we can give them a link they can click through to go to a sales page. Absolutely, we can give them a button they can click and type in a credit card and buy something. But only a percentage of the people are going to do that, even if they're ready to buy, even if they're absolutely hot to trot, ready to buy. So yeah, we would definitely want to use the technology to give them a link they can click to book into somebody's diary for a telephone conversation and self-serve. And people like that. People actually do want to self-serve, even though it ends up talking to a human being. But you've still got that trust and that human interaction that's required. So with all this digital marketing, with all this digital process, you're still going to get a proportion of your prospects in some industries that always need to talk to a human. Of course, there are other industries where they can just buy and we'll ship them the stuff, no problem at all. There are plenty of service industries where actually they can just buy online and have an appointment with a clinician or a technician of some description. Yep, so they've already booked it and paid for it. If your boiler's broken and you need a plumber, you don't necessarily need to talk to the plumber before he turns up to fix your boiler. So absolutely, the technology can take care of that. In the expert industries, for advisors, for people whose product is actually giving advice, or for people whose product requires some kind of advisory component to it, like wealth advisors, mortgage advisors, those types of guys, they do need to talk to their client anyway, legally for compliance reasons. So at that point, we need to bridge that and make it as easy as possible for the prospect to end up talking to a human being. We will sell more if we do that. So we take the easy sales, of course, but we will sell more if there is an opportunity to talk to a human being. And even in this digital day and age, there is still a need, a value in having a well-trained salesperson that works on a consultative advisory basis and makes sure the prospect gets exactly what they need and the best service that we can get for them.
What are the top 2 or 3 bits of tech that most of your clients are using or implementing in that funnel and the transition to pipeline?
And when you start building a tech stack for a funnel, there are so many different bright and shiny objects out there that you could use. There's lots of bits of tech that do landing pages. There's lots of different things that can send text messages and do email sequences. We might need some quizzes and this type of thing. So you could actually spend quite a lot of time cobbling together lots of different bits of technology. And most of them are good. The problem it gives us and the problem it gives our clients is if you've cobbled together really a complex tech stack to do your marketing, to drive your marketing funnel, first off, somebody needs to engineer that, otherwise it won't work properly. We've got lots of data that needs to get passed around between the different pieces of technology. So it becomes very often quite labor intensive to manage that. So we prefer to use tools that are all in one. They do most of the things. I don't think there is a tool out there that I've come across yet that does absolutely everything best in class. But certainly we use this piece of technology very frequently with our clients called Keep. And Keep gives us landing page builders, it gives us forms, it gives us email marketing, it allows us to interface with SMS systems. It really provides us with most of the technology that we use to very easily construct and manage. And it's all in one, so it's really easy for the client to use. for most of my clients, they want to interact with it. They want to log in. They want to do things. So absolutely, we do the techie back end stuff for them, and we advise on how to make the marketing effective. But they're logging in, they're seeing what's going on, they're interacting with their prospects. Systems doing the automation part of it, but it doesn't stop them interacting with their prospects on a one-to-one basis. So Keep is a great solution for us. We do have a number of products that we supplement Keep with when we need extra tools. But that's our job, is to figure that out and understand the technology so that our clients don't need to really get overly involved. Best if they're not that interested, because we want them focused on doing what they do for a living, which is deliver their products and service and offer great customer service to their customers.
Is the place to start with your funnel and pipeline with the tech, or is it mapping out the funnel and pipeline and then finding the tech that can deliver that solution?
The place to start when you're really designing and building a funnel is with your objectives. So the technology is merely a tool that supports the objectives. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's been lots of companies over the years that have worked out funnels that work. So very often you can borrow, copy, clone somebody else's ideas and just turn it into your brand. But it is, what is the objective we're trying to achieve here? And then what is the process that will get us to that objective? And then what is the tech or the tools that we require to support that process? So a very clear intentionality on what you're really trying to achieve is always an easier place to start, rather than, hey, that's a shiny, bright new bit of tech, let's implement. That's the wrong place to start. Or, hey, let's run some Facebook ads. It depends on what we're trying to achieve. And if you haven't got a landing page, then if you haven't got a follow-up, and if you haven't got a CRM, it was a waste of money running the Facebook ads in the first place. So it's what is the objective? Then what is the strategy to get us to the objective? And then what tactics and assets do we need? Sounds complex, doesn't need to be. Things are usually a lot simpler than most people make them. And part of our job is to take care of the complexity of the technology and the marketing process to a large degree, and just make it simple for our clients.
I guess doing it repeatedly helps a lot with that. I know that when you're doing something for the first time, doesn't matter what it is, it's the most difficult time to do it. Possibly the most fun, but it's where you're going to make the mistakes, and it's where you're going to spend more time than you need to on various elements. Whereas if you've done something 10 times, you've got the hang of it. And you guys have done funnel building and pipeline management for clients many times. But where do people get started with it? And how do you do it from an operational perspective? What do you need from customers? What do you need from clients? What do you need from a business owner to kick off building their funnel and pipeline? And then how does it work going forward?
When a client starts working with us, where we prefer them to start is a kind of very open, collaborative mindset to start off with. We're trying to help them achieve something that's going to take a period of time to construct. The objective is usually the objective that we like the clients to start to think about is something around, how do I build a consistent flow of leads? What number does that need to be in their business? And then construct something that really starts from that objective. We have templates. We have so many, we've been doing this for so long. We have lots and lots of templates that we can start with and say, why don't we start in this place and then make some tweaks and some edits? But every brand is different. Every business is different. They all have their different values. They have their different brand essence and their brand promise. But the process is usually exactly the same through many different companies. So the process is the same. The brand may well be different. So we would generally chat to a client, try and understand what their objectives and needs are, then introduce them to some ideas. Would this work? Would this work? Would this work? And then we come up with a scope of work. This is what we're going to do. We like to make the scope really quite compact and short, get something done, get that delivered to the client inside a week or 2 weeks, no more than that. Get it live, start getting some feedback on it, start understanding how it's performing in the marketplace. And then we can come back and discuss it and move on to the next thing. Lots of clients have a plethora of different ideas that we could do, but what we really want to do is just prioritize the first one and get it done, get it implemented, get it in place, get the technology tools that we need in place and there, and then build on it as we go forward. and keep continuously improving things and keep continually adding to the top of the funnel, because the middle of the funnel is probably going to stay pretty much the same, and the bottom of the funnel is going to stay pretty much the same. And then the sales pipeline, which is the sales process, is going to stay exactly the same going forward.
So if I'm a business owner watching this and I'm thinking, I haven't got a funnel, I haven't got a pipeline, what's the place to start?
The place to start is to have a conversation. I have discovery calls with people all the time. It's just an informal chat. So 30 minutes on Zoom or on the telephone, whatever kind of works for people. And I just talk to them about what their business objectives are in the context of marketing, in the context of lead generation, lead flow. We'll agree what's the next step. It's almost certainly going to mean that we need to buy some technology for them. So they've got an investment in getting some technology because we need tools.
Yep.
We've got to have tools to do our job. Very inexpensive. I mean, the amount of money it costs to buy Keep, for example, is £89 a calendar month. So really inexpensive to get going and start building something and constructing something. And from there, we just slowly work forward. But first step, it's a discovery call. They're discovering about what we can do. We're discovering what they need. Put together a plan and just get on with it. By the time people have thought about things for 2-3 weeks, well, we could have actually done it. We could have done stuff in that time. The upfront cost is fairly insignificant to the massive upside impact it can have on a business. So we're more than happy to get going and get things moving as fast as possible.
So free call with you, establish the objectives, and kick off pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Good. That sounds really straightforward. So call with you, get it set up. That people are thinking this is going to cost me thousands of pounds to get something built. They're wrong, because the tech already exists. You might need to stack it up. You might need to put it together. You certainly need someone that knows what they're doing. But in actual fact, a few £100s a month and a run of a few months, and you're going to find out pretty quickly whether you're going to have something that's going to work for your business or not.
Yeah, to be fair, the average first funnel build cost is something like £500 to £600.
Okay.
Then the second part of it, really, we're only adding extra feeds into the top of it. The middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, we've already constructed in the first £600. So really, you can be in business very inexpensively, as I say, £500 or £600, and we're moving.
Sounds good. Hopefully, people that have listened to this, watch this, and book that call, and be well on their way to getting their first funnel up and running with you.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to speaking with more people. Just come to our website, exela.co.uk, and get in contact with us, and love to help people. Thanks,
Lovely
Mark.
stuff. Thanks very much. Thanks, David.